إنه الله سقانا من ماء المطر. الله عرف إنه إحنا بنعاني ونزل لنا مية من عينه.
אף אחד לא מטפל בי! ואני מתלונן! אני צועק, אני משתין בלילה מפוסט טראומה! הוא בא אליי והוא אומר לי, למה הרגת אותי? למה הרגת אותי? אתה יכול להפקד ככה ביום אחרי שיש לך ימים כאלה? אתה יכול לאכול? אתה יכול בכלל להסיח בחיים?
Those 3 students that were being shot at, they were shot over Thanksgiving break because they're wearing keffiyeh, because they're wearing this scarf they're being shot at here in America, and we do nothing about it. We're okay with it. Nobody talks about it.
Assalamu alaikum Habibis. We back with another episode. Before we begin this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell down below. Just go ahead and hit it. Today's video is going to be one that many people don't want to acknowledge. Being in America, we're inclined here, well, what's shoved down our throats, so to speak, is the groupthink idea of supporting Israel, and that any Arab retaliation, regardless, is labeled as terrorism. Now, how do you think that Americans really respond to that issue of Palestine and Israel? Because we see a lot of protests happening pro-Palestine, but we very much see that the media is turning pro-Israel.
I'll tell you this, bro. Although ethnically we come from different backgrounds and our parents may have come from different countries, we're born in America, first generation, we're Americans. And we love this country as much as any other American does. If not, I would dare to say more. I love this country more than anything. This is our home. So when you say, how is the narrative being portrayed? I have no problem with Americans and the consensus that we have to defend our allies. Fine. Israel is an ally of America, granted.
But to what extent do you go?
That's where I was going. At what point do we take in humanitarian rights being violated, atrocities being committed, countless upon countless children becoming orphans? At what point do all of these atrocities come into play and overrule the mere fact that they're our ally and we owe them our support?
I want to ask you a question. What benefits to the US does occupation of Palestine bring? One that costs 15,000 and counting human lives, including over 4,000 children. Objectively, think as a pro-American as you can. You have a foothold in the Middle East. You have more access to oil, bring down your oil prices in the US. You have a more active military presence in the Middle East now.
Let me tell you this, Mel. There's something from within that has now become your identity that you are now in service to. It does nothing for the this occupation of Palestine. It does nothing for America, it does nothing for the American people. But it's just the mere fact that the identity of America has been so entwined with that country that's doing the oppression that they are now in service to them.
Would you say that most Americans know that this is actually very much a detriment to their personal lives in terms of now they're paying more in taxes, higher for gas, more for groceries, because government funds that are meant to fix the roads, meant to be paid to farmers, meant to circulate this economy, are being sent out for other interests?
Dog, absolutely, we have it too good here. We haven't been hit and realized the reality of what really is going on in some parts of the world, and we won't until it probably will impact our own wallets back here at home. Nobody's gonna care. Ignorance is bliss. Nobody in America cares unless it's brought to their face. As long as we don't see it, we don't care. Once it's in front of us, then we want change. By that point, it's a little bit too late.
You know, being Muslims, both of us, I find it funny that in any situation you find where there is a Muslim resistance, it's labeled terrorism. Now, if you watch this video and this is a point that you've never thought of before, think to yourself, are all Muslim resistance group terrorists because this is the objective truth, or are they terrorists in your eyes because that's what this government is telling you to believe? All of them are labeled terrorists? Does that make sense? Is that a coincidence? Or is that just a way to label that group in order to justify what they're doing now and have you believe it?
Israeli murderers are called commandos. Arab commandos are called terrorists. Contra killers are called freedom fighters. Well, if crime fighters fight crime and firefighters fight fire, what do freedom fighters fight?
In South Lebanon, about a month ago, there were 2 young ladies and their grandma driving down a road in South Lebanon. Their vehicles blown up.
Now, an Israeli airstrike has hit a civilian car in the south of Lebanon. 3 children and their grandmother have been killed. Their mother is severely injured. Lebanon's foreign minister says The country will submit a complaint to the United Nations over the killing of civilians.
I was in Lebanon in 2006 when Israel invaded Lebanon. I saw what they did. I saw families burned in their cars. One car blown up with a sulfur bomb. The whole family was white and ashy, still in their car. I saw bodies. I saw bullets, rockets being dropped on airports and buildings. I saw it live in civilian areas. If you see something, don't believe the first thing you see. Go do your research. Go investigate the situation. I think that's the most American thing you can do, is question your government. That's what America was established on, questioning your government. And you know what's funny is that these celebrities, they posted pray for Israel, and they all used pictures of Palestine.
Yeah.
Pictures of decimated Gaza, of dead Palestinian children, of crying Palestinian mothers in their background saying pray for Israel. And they all got caught doing this because out of pure ignorance. They didn't know. They just support because they were told to. Now, what's funny is that there's been this wave of shift to Islam. Have you heard of that? This propaganda was started not too long ago, promoting the Quran as a book of terror, obviously, which prompted a lot of people to read the Quran. And this kind of propaganda backfired on the people. And there's been this shift, seeing how strong the Palestinian people have been to this war and genocide. There's been this shift in curiosity of how do these people stay so strong and devoted when their children are being blown up in their own hands.
I bought the Quran and I started reading it because I was very inspired by the Palestinian people's resistance.
I was so curious about what is this faith that the Palestinian people have. It's something so deep and so profound that I was just drawn to learn more about Islam.
For us, we have the idea of martyrdom being embedded in our DNA. It's such a pivotal aspect of our teachings and values. So this is why you can't beat us, dog. When Israel in 2006, they try to invade, of course they're not going to win. And nor will they win. Never will they come a day, dog, where they will beat the Muslims. It will not happen. Impossible. Because martyrdom is an honor, dog. It's sweeter than honey for us. And when we say this isn't a joke, dog. It's real life. Inshallah, we'll have the opportunity to be able to participate as well. That's why these people ain't leaving, bro. Because they want it, dog. It's better for them than living.
Yeah. That point right there is how you see whose land belongs to who. You have a group of people that are forcing their way in, sort of conflict. Their airports are full. Their airports are full day and night of people trying to escape. Then you have a group of people that are fighting to stay in the country and region that's being bombed. They refuse to leave down south to go to a safer area. They refuse to leave. Did you see the video of the hostages released? The comparison between the Israeli hostages and the Palestinian.
Yeah, the Palestinian ones were almost entirely children.
They were almost entirely children, and they were like beaten, bruised when they were returned.
Yeah.
And the women and children beaten and bruised. The videos of the Israeli hostages were all of them hugging and shaking hands with Hamas and thanking them as they were being returned.
There were two fighters that they entered an Israeli woman's home, and she was very scared. She was very alarmed. The fighters, they went, don't worry, we're Muslim, we're not gonna hurt you.
She explained the whole thing.
She was being interviewed by, I'm pretty sure, an Israeli news channel.
אל תדאגי, אני מוסלמי, אנחנו לא נפגע בכם. זה תפס אותי מצד אחד בהפתעה, מצד שני זה הוריד לי הרבה לחץ, וישבתי עם הילדים שלי, והמחבלים הביאו כיסא מהפינת אוכל.
היו מאוד עליבים והם שאמרו שאנחנו נהיה נקיים, שאנחנו נאכל.
Those three students that were being shot at, they were shot over Thanksgiving break because they're wearing keffiyeh, because they're wearing this scarf they're being shot at here in America, and we do nothing about it. We're okay with it. Nobody talks about it.
And when you look at the terrorists, the actual terrorists being Al-Qaeda and ISIS, and you look at who their leaders were, former American CIA agents, confirmed? Huh? So the people that you supported and then use them as a crutch, use them as a scapegoat to label the region as terror, they are American operatives, and it's known. We're the ones who are condemning them the most. And you're labeling those people condemning the terror groups terrorists? For what? For fighting for their country? Anybody that has the strength to be glad that their children are now with God and no longer have to endure suffering, that is a people that know that this land is theirs to defend, and those people are theirs to defend. They're not going anywhere. And that is a tough group of people to conquer.
Yeah.
Impossible.
يا حبيبي الله يسهل عليك الله يسهل طريقك اليهود فشلوا وإلنا النصر يابا بإذن الله، بإذن الله إلنا النصر. ومش طوالة يابا، مش طوالة بإذن الله.
الحمد لله يا جماعة إنه الله سقانا من ماء المطر. الله عرف إنه إحنا بنعاني ونزل لنا مية من عنده.
Anyways, guys, this has kind of been a more serious video. If you're new, like and subscribe. And if you're not new, drop the like anyways. We appreciate it. This has been Habibis Only. We appreciate y'all watching.